I was so enthusiastic to get my first video published that only after it went live that I realized the mistake I made. And that is, let's start at the beginning. Hello everybody, my name is Johan and this is a video of the garden. As you walk up to the front door, you'll remember on the left the Anthurium baluanum. The one I didn't show you, you might have seen it, is Medinilla speciosa. The flowers here, that's the dark pink, has already set seed, and the actual flower that you can still pollinate are the light pink, and it's a small little flower, and you'll see right at the top there they are. So speciosa is one of those lucky plants that there's always something to look at. And then there's more tillandsias, and tillandsias up in the tree. That's, by the way, it's a different one. Keep in mind, this is southern hemisphere. This is the southern part of the house, and we're going into winter now. So it's not the best time of the year for the garden at the moment. Huge philodendron that I planted 20 years ago when I bought the house, and look at those aerial roots that has secured itself around the concrete pillar. Little red bromelias, there's quite a bit of them in the garden, and you'll see that's a recurring theme all the time in the garden. This is still southern part of the house. Not a lot of sun at the moment, so the plants are kind of struggling a little bit. Here is a philodendron gloriosum. There is Dieffenbachia, and at the back I think you can see an alocasia. The shrub you can see here on the left is a Metarungia. It's one of your indigenous South African plants. This is just some creeper that I actually, this was growing on the property when I came here, and it's just survived all the time. Some more palms, and this is Philodendron glorious there at the back. Interesting about it, if you look closely, you will see how it encircles the palm. I'm sure at some point it'll start growing up the palm. This is a mamey. There's a little bipenifolium to your left. I've just planted a whole lot of sort of creeping philodendrons here because I want this sort of subtropical look here. There's another mamey at the back. Burley Marks, Gloriosum. This is a gardenia to the left. It's got these big, beautiful, fragrant flowers. Some, I don't know if you saw the alocasia. There's some pink anthuriums. Delicious monster, but a very juvenile one. Osebono. Yeah, I've literally planted everything in this little space. There's a mamey. There's the bigger one. The smaller one, what I did, I cut the stem in half, and that's where the smaller one sprouted from. That's again your glorious. This is the back of the bed. This is Calathea sabrina, stripy at the back, and Dieffenbachia in front. Philodendron Rojo Congo, and you'll see to the left, let me just try and get there, is another gloriosum. The southern side of the house, it's getting winter, they're not doing very well, and they're a little bit overgrown by this other plant that grows really prolifically it's almost a deep shade, I would say. And then at the back there's sort of more pink anthuriums. Not too happy because they want a little bit more light, a little bit sun for them to flower. This is a creeper that I found in the garden when I came here, and it made these really beautiful vines that almost create a canopy over the walkway. The creeper that's on the wall is a ficus. I know it is a penny creeper, really prolific grower. Front of the house. Okay, this brick wall was this huge, big, empty brick wall when I bought the house. So I bought the 2 big pots just to get some plants in here. I've planted a whole lot of bromelias, creepers, whatever I could in here, and you'll see some tillandsias, more bromelias there on top. I literally glued them to the wall because there was nothing to fix them to. That there on the right is a supposedly Philodendron Florida Ghost, which has reverted, so it's now Florida Green. Bromelias. I'm not very sure, maybe you can help me. Is this a glorious or a gloriosum? You'll see it's trying to get out of the pot already. It might be gloriosum. This huge bromelia is in flower. There's a little palm to the left. Well, this little palm has grown quite big. Also Bono that you can see. At the bottom is Philodendron elegans. That's a Soderoy. By the way, the palm is a Rubellini. More little bromelias. Adansonia is also repeating in the garden everywhere. Look at the beautiful deep burgundy bromelias. There's another Bipennifolium, Monstera sultipicana, and look at the silver philodendron. This is, I think it's silver. I bought it as silver wings, but I think it's a silver sword. Apparently, they both are the same. Going up, more bromelias, more Adansonii, and it's an overcast but sunny day here in South Africa. Finally, we got to the front of the house. This is my Bainsii forest. I've been criticized in the past that it's very overgrown. I have always wanted to live in a sort of tropical rainforest, and because there's no tropical rainforest in this area, I decided to plant my own. Tree aloes are not really, I would say, tropical because it's very wet, but they do really well in our part of the world. This is Aloe Bainsii, but then later the name was changed to Aloe Barberi. Apparently Sir Alex Baines named it after himself, therefore the name Bainsii, but then it was discovered that somebody else described it first before him, and that person named it after his wife Barbara, therefore the name Barberi. Yeah, I know, you never keep up with all these names. But anyway, a friend of mine gave me these Barberi Bainsii as sort of 1.5 meter cuttings that she grew in her garden or in her nursery, and I planted it here 20 years ago. So these plants are now 20 years ago. Keep in mind that this area of the garden is basically filling because they had to fill the stand up so that it's level. They do really well in, shall we call it, disturbed soil, and I've been lucky growing them here. No extra compost or anything else. I do love my platycerums. You'll see the platycerum there that was in the middle of the picture came from Bali. Here's some orchids growing around on a palm. A few tillandsias with, and there's actually another orchid. I'm not an orchid fundi, don't ask me about the names, but these ones flower this time of the year, and this is why I wanted to film this video now, because they are really pretty. I told you the red bromelias is going to be a recurring theme. Probably one of the easiest plants to grow for me, but they want full sun. If you take them out of the sun, they turn green. There's your platycerum that I got from Bali, and if you look right at the back, that's a normal bifurcatum. And on your left, Monstera deliciosa, another recurring theme in this garden. I'm not sure that this is bifurcatum. The one at the back against the thick palm is definitely bifurcatum. I'm not sure that that is. If anybody knows, please correct me down in the comments. You know where to go. Bifurcatum in my area has become a little bit of a nuisance. They do self-seed vigorously. If the humidity is high enough and we get a lot of rain, they just start growing all over. Somebody remind me in the comments that I do a video on where they all grow. This is a Tillandsia, and look at the tiny little flower, the purple little flower that is on this plant. Again, the orchid at the back, same kind of purple, and the red bromelias right at the back. I didn't show you the superbum, the Platycerium superbum in this video. That's for another one. Please remind me. And what I haven't, the elephant in the room, is the old man's beard or Spanish moss. I struggled in the beginning to grow it. Now it's just everywhere. This is a whole lot of crotons. They need to be cut back every couple of years. Otherwise they tend to grow really, really tall and lanky. This is the southern side of it. So you can see it's not as lush as on the other side that gets northern sun or full sun all the time. Some more Tillandsias that grows against the Barbari. This part of the garden used to be full of bromelias. Bromelias can be really beautiful, but it is, in my opinion, a high maintenance plant. As soon as the plant dies, it pushes out 2 or 3 shoots, and you really have to subdivide it, and it looks best if it's grown as a single specimen where it stands out, not in a bush where you can't really make out, which plant is which. There's still some areas in the garden where I want to rip all the bromelias out. You throw away literally 80 or 90% of them, and you start from scratch, and you just put one all by itself so that it becomes a focal point. This is down at the bottom. This is also a tree aloe, but it's not Bainzii or Barbari. This is something else. They grow in the original topsoil. They grow a lot slower than your Barbari. They don't grow as tall, and I haven't yet seen them flower. But still beautiful. They're a lot more compact. Going up the stairs, look at those Monstera roots on the left. These are just a few anthuriums in pots. There's a delicious monster. And this is the koi pond I showed you. Did I show you previously? I don't think so. Koi pond, and there is some ferns growing on it. To the left is a tree fern. Well, take my word for it, never plant a tree fern close to the house. It's not the roots. I will tell you in another video. Somebody make a note and say, please tell us. And look at that huge, big Bainzii or Barbari that I only planted a few years after the others, and look how big it has grown. It's really a beautiful specimen plant in the garden. This is more to the front of the house, and there's another palm with some of the same orchids on, and a lot more of the red bromelias. I've planted some philodendrons at the bottom of this. I don't think I've shown it in this video. Maybe you will see it. But as soon as they grow bigger and become more prominent, then I'm gonna have to get rid of some of those red bromelias because they're just taking over. A little Macaya bella shrub, indigenous to South Africa. Beautiful. These are on the pillars. A long story about that creeper that grows up there, and some pink anthuriums to the left. More red bromelias on the palms. There's a bird's nest fern, Strelitzia. They really love this area. Prolific flowering. There's 2 or 3 different Nandinas. I think this one is Nandina domestica. That's a baby palm growing next to the original mother palm. You always have to cull these. They're so easy to grow. Now we're getting to it. This is a Sorderoy on the left and a Glorious to the right. And growing up the tree, I think is Philodendron Brazil. When I bought this plant at the nursery, I questioned the name and the woman named it something else. And I'm like, okay, no, whatever. Verrucosum. Oh, long story about that, but finally it's doing something. And look at the small little Philodendron Plaumanii. I planted it recently, so it's still small, it's still busy establishing, and hundreds of pots with plants in it. More of your pink anthuriums. When my mother passed away a couple of years ago, the bouquet I made for the coffin, I think I had like 35 of those pink anthuriums in it. It was such a pleasure just to pick it out of the garden and make the bouquet for her. Another tree fern. This one, fortunately, is quite far from the house. And there on the left you'll see a cycas, not a cycad. Not my favorite, it's just the pest magnet. Not worth really growing in the low veld. I inherited when I bought this property. Some more pink anthuriums, another recurring theme in this garden. But beautiful. You know, it's always nice to cut a few flowers and put it in the vase in the house. These bare small trees to the right is pomegranates, come from the farm originally. Another long story, remind me in the comments and I will tell you about it. The red anthuriums I planted here, and also there's another Medinilla speciosa. Gets quite a lot of sun and look how happy it is. It likes quite a lot of water though, and it will remind you very quickly when it's dry. The leaf starts drooping, good drinking, and it's all right. Monstera deliciosa elbow, one of the rare plants I bought at the height of COVID. Okay, let's talk about cordyline. But I have specifically not turned down the background noise in this video because I want you to listen to something. Ask any South African what a hadida is and they will tell you. And you're not going to miss it. They're going to make their presence known. They're here somewhere in the garden. Anyway, these horizontal lines in the garden is the cordyline, and where the plant eventually touches the ground, it's going to make roots and the plant will grow prolifically again. And that's how they spread in nature. Grow really tall, the wind blows them over, or they hang down, and where they touch, they make roots. This is a fairly protected area in the garden, so they do grow really tall before they start lying down. Let me show you the ones at the back. Let me go to a different area and I'll show you the green with the white and yellow variegation. There you go. A little bit difficult to form here between the palms and all the growth. This plant to the right, by the way, is Rhapidophora decursiva, a very prolific grower. Remind me in the comments and I'll do a video specifically on it. There you go. It's a little bit difficult to form here. Let's go to the other side. And here you can see the plant is lying down, and here where it touches, it's going to make roots, and you can already see the new growth coming from the stem that's lying down. It's another angle. I know that I'm quite a bit lower here because I went down the steps, but look how tall these plants grow, and look how bushy it is. Instead of just one singular plant, you've got this mass of cordylines that's growing here. Quite stunning. Okay everyone, I think this is enough for today. It's been quite a long video. Let me show you what lies in ahead for the next video. This is the bottom of the garden. There's still bare far at the back a piece that's going to the back that I will also show you. I've got some mulching to do. There's weeds that I took out or plants that I pruned that has to go through the mulcher. And here comes the surprise. Remember I told you about the hadidas? Well, let's leave it for them to say goodbye. There you see them, and I'm going to zoom in just now. Thank you for making it all the way here. Please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment. Much appreciated, and I will see you in the next one. Enjoy a goodbye from the hadidas.